Hello, everyone, and welcome to podcast number 8 of the PowerUP podcast. Today, we have another massive topic, which is DLC. Now, we have tons to discuss, but before we go and discuss that, Ace, how have you been?
Doing good. This week's been super good. I haven't played too much. I've been really into my book. I actually finished one, and then ordered my second one. I've been doing more reading than anything, but I've been playing Slime Rancher. Almost done with that, and then I'm going to be playing The Witness. So, just really get my brain going. In all honesty, what about you though? What you been up to?
I haven't really been playing games that much because I had my apprenticeship interview yesterday. So kind of focusing on apprenticeship than gaming. But when I have been playing, I've been playing the Descenders, which is a mountain bike game. You've got to go
Oh,
from one area to another area. And there's one trophy that is doing my head in, and that's to complete it all without falling off the bike. Um, I got to the last jump, and the last jump is horrific because you've got to go up this ramp, land on this platform that's held up by a helicopter in the air, and then ramp off and bunny hop onto the platform below. But if you don't have enough speed, you don't make the platform. And if you have too much speed, you'll go too far and won't make the platform as well. So you've got to get it literally, I think it's 77 kilometers an hour to make the platform and still have momentum. So yeah, that's stumping me at the moment. I am so annoyed because I just keep dying. And yeah, as soon as I get that trophy, I pretty much only got a few more things to do. It shouldn't be too difficult. I say it shouldn't be too difficult. It probably will be. Um,
say it sounds atrocious. That does
oh,
not sound fun. That
it
trophy.
is. It is. But the thing is, with it, like you don't have to do any of the jumps. You can kind of go around to be more safe. But if you're doing it over and over again and just failing, your energy and just your patience just goes like, if I do this jump, this will save me 10 seconds. And it's not the way you
Yeah.
should be thinking. You should be like, play it safe. But like some of the deaths, I'm just there like, are you kidding me? How have you not stayed on the bike? Like you landed perfectly and you just went, ugh. Like,
Yeah.
oh man. Oh, but yeah. Not done much, just Descenders.
That's
But
fair.
no. Next, we have our first time doing release of the month. I'm gonna let you go first because this thing only came out today.
Yeah. Let's say it literally came out today as we're recording this. Tekken 8. We talked about it a couple podcasts ago. I guess I did really played the beta a little bit, but now it is fully out. Um, not getting it right away, but definitely will be aiming to get it soon because I'm
Mm-hmm.
really intrigued in the single player mode that you can make your own person, that
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. Same with Street Fighter. Um, but one thing I didn't know about Tekken, in all honesty, is it's PlayStation exclusive, at least from what I think. Unless we just didn't get, I guess I forgot that physical copies are going away from Xbox because we didn't receive any at the store. So I just assumed in my head, but it's probably not.
Me, you can do a
Anyway,
quick search
Tekken
if
8.
you want.
Honestly, Tekken 8. Um, I still definitely prefer my Mortal Kombat,
Mm-hmm.
but Tekken 8. I love fighting games. So, what about you though? I mean, you got the big one here noted down.
Well, I was going for one, and then because you didn't put it down, I kind of had to. Because if we
Yeah,
don't say that this release of the month is not Pal World, then we're not doing something right.
right.
It is probably the most talked about video game this month for just being so similar to Pokemon. Everyone's like, "Oh, what are Pokemon gonna do? What are Pokemon gonna do? Oh my god, like it's so similar. Like, what are Pokemon gonna do?" The answer is nothing.
Yeah,
So, and I mean, I've seen some gameplay. You absolutely beat them up and then throw balls at them, and then they want to be on your team. That doesn't seem to make sense to me. But then again, Pokemon's exactly the same, where you beat them up and then, oh yeah, the pally pally. Um, but no, it looks alright. It seems to have like a survival aspect of the game, with like the buildings and stuff. So, I mean, I haven't played it. I've been asked to play it, but like, I don't know whether I kind of want to because I have so many games to play right now. So I might give this one a miss, but it's still my release of the month because let's be real, it's got so many people talking about gaming, got so many people playing it. Because if you don't have Nintendo, this is the best thing that you could play.
Yeah,
So yeah, Pal World.
say it looks ultra dope, like derpy. I've only
Mhm.
seen really a couple clips of it. One of them was a dude loading his penguin pals into rocket launchers. So the game is just absurd. Tekken 8 is on Xbox, by the way. It's just not physical copies. So,
You
but
heard it
no,
here first. Ace has lied to you all again.
I try
Uh,
to do it at least once per podcast. So,
yeah. Maybe we should start doing a segment of guess where the lie is.
yeah, right.
Did you
Two truths
find
and a
it?
lie.
Yeah.
Truths and a lie.
Okay, so the whole podcast was a lie.
Yeah.
But there is an honorable mention for this month. Um, and this was my initial put down, and it was The Last of Us 2 remastered. Again, if it was more expensive, I probably wouldn't have put it down, but I think it was actually cheaper than what The Last of Us Part 2 was at the original launch, which I'm okay with. If it's cheaper than the original at launch, then I'm okay with a remaster because it's your choice to buy it. It's when I think Part 1 was like £60 to buy, and that was more expensive than the game originally. That's when I'm there like, you being serious? Like you want me to
Right.
pay extra for the game that I've already played? But another good thing about this was if you had the game already, it was literally just a £10 upgrade to get the remastered version, and you got rogue-like mode, and you got other access to the parts of the game were removed, but they're still there. The developers actually talk about them. So for an extra £10, $10, a bit of DLC. So
Yeah.
I think it's worth it if you really enjoyed the game.
Right.
Um, but if you haven't played the game, remastered version for cheaper than the main game, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with the PS5 version.
Yeah.
The quality didn't look too different though. I saw side by side, could not tell you which one was which.
Me.
It's difficult though. Like you go from PS4 Pro to PS5, it was already in
Right.
high quality. It's not noticeable with your eyes how good the
Right.
changes. So they could have improved it, but yeah, one of
So
those.
maybe there'll be some aspects where it shows more than
Mhm.
others. I'm sure.
Yeah, it was a really bad screenshot to be honest. They were looking at a bench, so
No. Okay. Well,
uh, I couldn't really tell. Yeah, that looks sittable. Uh, I could sit there.
yeah.
Don't know if I'd want to in a zombie apocalypse because I feel like
Yeah.
he'll be pretty tough to get up from that and run away. But
Right.
it looked like a nice bench. Uh,
Yeah. We love a good bench.
oh yeah, and yeah, that's our release of the month. Again, every single podcast at the end of the month or the very start, depending on how close it is. So let's say it's the first of the month, the podcast comes out. It's still gonna be released of the month for the month beforehand. It honestly just depends. We'll be missing out a week, or we could do it the week before and just say, okay, this game hasn't came out yet, but this is my release of the month. Oh no, we'll decide. It's going to be at the end or at the very start. Either
Yeah.
or. And now onto the news. Okay. So for the news now, one of the ones that I researched, and honestly, not many people will be too bothered about this, but I thought it was a big thing because it could lead to more games doing this in the future. And it's essentially Ubisoft is turning off the servers for the Crew. And the Crew is an online only game. So when they turn off the servers for the online, the game is essentially unplayable. You won't be able to play it because you have to connect online. So a YouTuber is planning a lawsuit against Ubisoft for the server closure. And if anyone's like me and you've played the Crews, I've played the 1 and 2. Crew 1 was the best game out of them. There was a storyline. You could travel around the whole of America and race friends. Like, that game was so good. And then the second one was more arcadey, and I didn't like it as much. I still platinumed it, and I didn't platinum the Crew 1 because some of the requirements for the Crew 1 were actually insane. Like, a lot of driving, it would have took so much time. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they're closing the service down in March.
Hmm. I mean, I don't know how that'll go in like court and everything. I get the point of the lawsuit because you paid for this game
Mm-hmm.
and now it's completely unusable. So I see it from that point, but at the same time, it's still like just a service thing. Like, I don't know. You get a haircut, you don't try to file a lawsuit after your hair grows and the haircut's gone. So like,
Oh my god, what is that comparison?
I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying.
Oh my god, my hair's grown. I'm gonna sue you.
I know that's what I'm saying. It's silly. I just I get it, but at the same time, I don't think it'll go anywhere.
I think the YouTube is just trying to put something in place so that these developers can't just release a game and then go, oh yeah, by the way, your purchase is null and void now because we're turning off the servers. Because this game
Right.
could well and truly be a single player offline experience if they just put the effort in to do it. Because the game's incredible. I absolutely love it. You could just turn off the multiplayer side of things, keep it on for the single player, so you can still do the single player stuff, so you still do the missions and still drive around. Like, I don't think there should be an issue with that. So I think that's what the lawsuit's about, because if Ubisoft does this with the Crew, think of how many games they could do it to and just start
Right.
doing that. Like, it's cheaper for them to not have the server, but like, people pay money. So
Hmm.
again, I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, I do know one thing you're gonna love though that we have here in the news. PS5 firmware is blocking the Cronus Zen, the cheating devices that a lot of people use in like Apex and COD.
Hmm.
Siege, I know it's big into. And you put here on our notes in all capitals, thank God. So sound off, Grubb.
I mean, let's be real. If you use cheats, like, why? Um, like, you're just ruining your own enjoyment. You're not getting better at the game. You're just shit, and you're using a cheat. Like, that's that's very good of you. You're ruining other people's gameplay and have fun. I guess they don't care though. They'd rather just get fake stats.
Hmm.
So hopefully now they'll go into the real world. They play the game and they'll get absolutely destroyed and go, "I want my cheat back." And they'll cry about it online, and then they can ban them because they'll be crying like, "Oh my god, my cheats aren't working. I'm so bad at the game now." Yeah, bye, bye. You actually need some gun skill instead of just using a Cronus Zen, which helps your aim, and you can
Right.
do things automatically because you've modded a certain path on your controller to automatically run when you click. It's just like,
Right.
no, it's just terrible. Because I'm pretty sure you can do it so that, like, if you press it, like, tap fires, like, it's still the same speed as the tap fire, which for some guns is insane. Like, you can't beat
Yep.
it. So yeah, thank God that PlayStation's finally cutting down on this. Because again, I mean, back in, I think it was Black Ops 3, the pros had to use Cronus Zen only because of the Bluetooth connection on the controllers was getting messed with the spectators. So
No.
like there would be some stick drift, there'll be connection things. So they use Cronus Zen devices to cut out the Bluetooth, but they
Hmm.
fixed that and they stopped using them. So everyone was using them in that, but like with no cheats. It was just like the connection, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
And everyone, all the pros, I'm pretty sure hated it. Because obviously you see in the chat, they're using Chronosens. Yeah, not to cheat, to get the
Right.
connection. So that was okay, but like if you're doing it at home, even if you don't have cheats on it, why have you got it? Like, you
Right.
only have it to cheat with. Um, I know, I'm so glad it's gone. They'll
Yeah.
find a way though. They'll find a way to get around the firmware. They always will do.
They always do.
So,
Yep. They always
uh,
do. So it'll crack down a little bit, but
yeah,
you know,
it's like
cheating
cheating in
it'll always
general,
be
isn't it?
around.
Mm.
Yeah.
They ban something and then something comes straight back, and they're like, oh yeah, well we patched it. Now it's back even worse than before. Sorry. Like,
Yeah.
guess it's nothing. I mean, they could do something about it, and they do ban people for cheating, but like, it's not quick enough. And you should ban the IP, not the actual player, because they'll just make a new account and carry on again.
Yep.
And I honestly think it should be ban the console,
Yeah.
because then you've got to buy a new console, and that's them making money.
Right. I'm saying that's a good in between too, because a lot of people don't like the IP thing,
Mhm.
um, just
Because
because
if
it's
you're
very
living with
broad.
people, yeah, if you're living
Right.
with people, so.
And then banning the account doesn't do enough, especially with free to play games,
Mhm.
because you can make infinite accounts essentially. So console wouldn't be a bad idea because they have to have like there's serial numbers to every console and everything. I can't imagine it'd be too hard to ban it if you can ban the IP.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. But you know, but if you ban the PlayStation, then if like let's say, I don't have a brother, but let's say my brother that's not real try to play on their like a PlayStation, but I've got banned on it, then they can't get online. So it's just so difficult to ban them, like because
Yeah,
there's
and I
always gonna
mean
be ways around it.
those scummy people too. They get banned on it, and then to buy a new console, they could sell theirs, not advertise that it's banned. So when that person buys it, goes to play online, they can't.
That's another thing.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
there'd have to be a system to say, oh, yeah, this is a new purchase, like reset, or you have to fully reset the PlayStation 5. And yeah,
yeah,
didn't think about that. Yeah, people would do that and would sell fake
hmm
ones. So yeah, let's not do that, PlayStation. Um, but to continue the PlayStation talk, though, Sony CEO says PlayStation's gaming future will be on PC, mobile, and cloud. Um, and they've said wherever there is computing, users will be able to play their favorite games seamlessly, while PlayStation will remain our core product. We will expand our gaming experiences to PC, mobile, and cloud. That's a good thing.
yeah,
I think people were scared when they saw the title because the title was kind of, oh yeah, PlayStation's future will be on PC, mobile, and cloud. Not, they didn't mention consoles. But then
yeah,
if you read the article, it says the core product is still the PlayStation, the console itself. Um, and I mean, it should be on PC, it should be on mobile, it should be on cloud. Like,
right.
get their product out as far as possible. People on PC can then enjoy PlayStation games. I do not see an issue. Like they need to
Yeah,
always up their game and develop new things, new ways of playing. So I'm happy. I, what's your opinion?
I think it's only a good thing. I don't really see a negative to it. I mean, everything's kind of moving towards cloud gaming in general, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be nice, especially if you have mobile, you have the console, and then you have your PC. You just need to buy the game once. You can play it from anywhere, really, especially with the mobile. And we'll talk about it later how good phones are becoming, how powerful they are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I think it's only a good thing. It is. I'm a little curious as to how it's going to work, though, because they did just come out with the PlayStation Portal. So I wonder how limiting they're going to be on like mobile and stuff to try to get you to still buy the Portal
Mm-hmm.
and not render it useless. So
Good point.
I don't know. We'll see.
We will see. Because this is the future, man. This is the how it's
Yeah.
gonna be now. So I think eventually you won't even need a console. You just start up your TV and PlayStation will be incorporated in the TV. I think that's somewhere that it'll go. Because let's be real, storing a PlayStation as well as a TV it's pretty difficult. That thing is huge. That
Yeah,
PS5
it's
there
massive.
is massive. Find somewhere to put that. So I think the future is going to be incorporated into TVs. I think Microsoft already does it with
Really?
Xbox. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So,
That would be crazy.
I mean, it'll be online. Um,
Right.
so you won't be able to have discs, but a lot of people don't have discs anymore. They go for the physical free version anyway. So,
Yep.
I mean, that's good for people. The day they remove physical copies completely will be a sad day because I love my physical copies.
Yeah, and we talked about it a little bit. I don't know if they. I mean, they can, but I don't know if they ever should.
Hmm.
Just because there is people that don't have internet, like people that can't do the online shopping or don't want to. You know,
Hmm.
people who because there's some people who don't like putting their card online and stuff. They only like using it in stores and stuff for physical copies, which I guess you could argue you can buy cards, but
Yeah.
because I mean that's another thing PlayStation doesn't do is like Xbox has actual game cards and Nintendo too. So you buy a card and it gives you a code and that just downloads the game. So it's
Yes.
not a physical copy, but PlayStation doesn't do that as of right now. So maybe they will eventually, but I don't know. I don't know if they could ever truly get rid of physical copies.
I hope not.
Just I don't know how it would go over. I mean, I guess it's a smaller part of the market
Hmm.
where they get the physical sales, but I don't know. I think it's necessary.
I mean, the TV could just have a CD thing in the sides, like the old ones used to. You just put your
Right,
PlayStation 5 game in there and load it up.
right.
Oh, I mean, it's doable.
Yeah.
Again, we have so much Sony. Holy, the next one
I
is
would
even
say
Sony.
so. Another thing from Sony. They're developing a new summary system that will help players keep track of like the games that they're playing and the complex narratives. Reading the article, they're targeting it for like ADHD people and people with not so great memories to help
Hmm.
because some of the narratives are insane and some of the games are very long.
Hmm.
So if you go away, come back, it'll have a summary system to it, um, which I think is nothing but good. I don't see a negative to it again.
It's just like TV shows that say previously on The
Yeah,
Walking
right.
Dead. Like, like if you just forget like what you've played, like this has been so many times. Like Mass Effect 2 right now. I stopped playing that a year ago. I still remember some of it, but like I don't remember the narrative anymore. Like I'm gonna have to start again from the start.
Yep,
Because when I get back to it, there's no summary that tells me, oh well, this has happened. Um, I think they do have a system though in that game where you can like read through like places and like people that you've met and stuff. So I could probably
right.
read through that and kind of like that happened, that happened. Okay, and I already know most of what happened because to be fair, that game's still ingrained of what I was doing last time. I just had to stop because of
Yeah,
university work and never picked it back up. But yeah, like it'll allow more people to play single player games because there's a lot of people out there that only play multiplayer games because they can't focus for that long. They need to
right.
be doing something constantly and then they get bored, but then they'll go back to and go, well, I can't remember the story now. There's no point in me playing. This will allow people to actually complete games. So
Yep.
again, system if done properly, because it might not be done properly. I can already see the headlines now. PlayStation new summary system spoils games.
Yeah, right.
Like
Uh,
previously on, this person died. No, they didn't. No,
yeah,
they
right.
didn't. 2 minutes later, oh fuck, they're dead. Like I can just see the headlines now. Like the summary system has
Yeah,
spoiled a game for people. Um,
yeah. It's definitely something they need to be careful of
mhm.
because I mean you're right. That could definitely be an issue. Um, but I don't know. I'm sure it could piggyback off the trophy system where like if A happens, then B happens, so the summary system won't pop in until you hit a certain point in the game.
Mhm.
I'm sure that's how it'll intend to work. It's if it works as intended will be the main thing we need to see.
We'll see. I,
But
you'll
also,
test it.
yeah, I also think it'll be good because it'll allow the companies to, because I'm sure they have some control over what's said in the summary. If
Mm-hmm.
there's like some details they want you to remember for
Mm-hmm.
later on that like come back around, it'll be in there just to keep it in your mind. So, like I said, I think it's only a good thing.
I just hope that it's not too helpful. Because if you see something in there which you're like, well, why do I need to remember that? And then 3 hours later, it's like, well, bloody well told me why I needed to remember that. So
Yeah,
it
right.
also needs to be wary of that side of things because, PlayStation can play the game for you. It's like, be careful for the next step. You might die. So like, you know what I mean? Like, or it'll give you like a hint of like, always use the shotgun on this enemy because
Right.
you found a weakness. Like, well, I didn't actually find that weakness, but now you've told me.
Yeah.
Um,
And another thing, like, how will it work with games like Until Dawn and Detroit Become Human, ones that branch off so much? Are they going to be able to have a summary for each different choice that you make?
it just
Or,
says if
like,
you
how's
chose
that going to work?
this, this was what the summary is. If you chose this, this is the summary. Just like it's just
Right.
a branch itself, just all the
Yeah.
summaries. I don't know. That's a good question as well. Are they doing the new system for old games, or is it just going to be the new games?
I don't know.
'Cause I feel like that would be
I
difficult for the old games to like.
I'm sure it'll just be newer ones, and I don't know what they'll test it on first. Maybe just PlayStation exclusives. So
They have more control on them, and they'll
yeah,
probably be able to say to the developers, "We need this. Can you give us a summary for like everything?" Um,
yeah, right,
I wonder, would it go by chapter to chapter though? Like, what if you quit mid chapter? Like, there's so much to like. I
right.
don't know.
Like
Would it be the
what
main
are the
events?
benchmarks?
Yeah, would it just
Right.
be the main events, or would it literally be like, yesterday you entered this door, and you
Yeah,
saw this, and just describe the whole room to you? Like, it just depends on how difficult
yeah,
it goes in depth, really.
yeah,
Um, I don't know. I think it's a good thing.
yeah,
We'll
for
probably
sure.
talk about it when it actually comes out.
Right.
That could be its own topic, to be fair. We
Hmm.
both just play a game that has it and just go, well, what did yours say?
Yeah, right.
Mine told me I shouldn't have died back at the start and I'm shit at video games. You are the only person to die at this part. Please quit.
Yeah,
Oh,
really call you out on that.
yeah, it really would. We do have some from Microsoft, and it's not good news. Like,
Yeah,
oh, oh,
it's
we're
rough.
so sorry. Like, I know we only have PlayStations, and we honestly did not mean to put good PlayStation things and then just shit on Xbox and Microsoft. So I'm sorry, but we kind of have to. They've laid off 1,900 staff from its video game workforce. Again, the trend with video games now, there's so many layoffs.
Hmm.
It's a bit scary if you work there because you actually don't know what the future will hold. And with so many
Yep.
people losing their job, everyone's going to be applying for the same ones now to try and get back into the market. So there's just not enough studios for it.
Yeah. Um, Looking into that, did it tell you exactly like how it broke down, like what departments or anything? 'Cause
I didn't read too much into it because I don't like reading bad news.
right, like
Uh,
from what I heard, I mean, I could be wrong, but from what I heard, a lot of it was quality assurance, and a lot of it was also like the physical media departments as well. Um,
so it's
oh,
between Xbox and Activision Blizzard.
yeah, I say
Um,
Activision is what I heard laid off a lot of quality assurance,
mhm.
but
Um,
again, could be wrong.
so it's 8% of the overall division. Ba, 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 ba. But no, if it is quality, then the quality of their games are just gonna go down. Like,
Yeah, and I mean for Activision, they're not great right now, so
you need more.
yeah,
um, That's insane. Like, putting that many people, let's say they're all on what, like, a low 20,000 a year. That's an insane amount of money they're saving, and well, let me do the maths quickly in my head.
In your head, yeah.
Yeah. What is that? What, 38 million?
Wow.
And there's probably some that are higher than that. Like,
Oh, for sure.
that's the minimum. Pretty much is 38 million they're saving by getting rid of these. Quick maths. I know, right? It's like I had a calculator in my head.
Bro's doing math off a calendar. He's ahead of his time. He's
Yeah.
ahead of his time.
31 days in January plus the 29 in Feb, leap year. Because it's a leap year this year. Do you want to know why I remember that? Final Fantasy Rebirth is coming out on that day.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's the leap year, 29th.
Wow,
Yeah. What a game. Never forget that. So
that's
every
crazy.
4 years it gets a year older.
2028. Yeah, this game's
This
happy
is
1 year anniversary to
happy
Final
one
Fantasy.
year. We're going off topic now, but like, how do people celebrate their birthdays when it's the 29th
Don't
of
know.
Feb? They must choose like the day before, the day after, surely.
Yeah.
But like, happy 1 year, but I've been alive for 4.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, does that mean they
Yeah.
lived 4 times as long?
Maybe
No.
vampires are just people who were born on leap days. So.
Smart man. Smart man. Next news. Off topic. Let's go.
Okay. All right. Dead by Daylight revealed a lights out modifier. It's the first time one has been in Dead by Daylight, and we talked about it a couple podcasts ago, I believe, where I mentioned the survey they had with a bunch of different modes that they were asking. This was not on any of those, so I don't know where they came up with this modifier and why they thought this is what people wanted. Um, but it's what they're coming out with. From what I'm seeing online, people aren't really excited about it because I mean, a lot of people have the same complaint where like we answered a 15-minute survey and this wasn't on there once. Why is it what we're getting?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are worried about certain perks messing with it, like the ones that literally allow you to see like auras and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know because it all it does is just makes the map super dark and you can only see so far in front of you compared to what you usually can.
Is
So
this because Alan Wake's just been put into the game and his main thing is a flashlight?
mm,
So could this be why they're doing it now? Because then it makes the flashlight even more appropriate.
it could be. That's a very fair point.
Because that's
I don't
I
know.
think it's
Yeah, I
fitting.
say that's fair. That's a good point with the timing of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, I don't even know how the flashlights work in it. I didn't really watch the trailer. I saw a little bit of it, and I just saw the like depth of view.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't know. I think I will honestly probably give it a try just because it's the first time they've done anything like this.
Yep.
So hopefully they knock it out of the park. Behavior is usually pretty good. So
I wonder if the killers will have even greater vision though. So it's like Among Us, where they
a
get
little bit.
vision.
It looked similar because they showed it from both points of view.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think the survivors, in all honesty, would have the advantage if anything, just because they can 360 quick. They have the third person view.
Gotcha.
Um, so I don't know. I mean, it'll make it scarier at the very least.
Yeah.
So
They've got to make
you'll get
sure
the
to eat
heart.
their carrots.
I'll say you'll get the heartbeat on your controller and your headset and everything. You won't be able to see the killer. Like I can, yeah, it'll be fun. I can
Oh.
imagine it'll be fun. It's just there. I think there's other modifiers that they could have done, but I think
Hopefully
Alan
this
Wake's a
is the
good point.
start. Hopefully this is the
Yeah.
start of the cool modifiers.
Yep.
Yeah.
I say it's definitely gonna pull me back into downloading Dead by Daylight and playing it a little bit. So I mean, doing its job, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Going back to leap years. Uh, B-Way just put a friend of mine got married on the 29th of Feb, so now she only gets a quarter of the anniversaries. That's so sad.
That's rough.
Like, happy. Well, actually, no, it's not a gold anniversary because you haven't celebrated it. Actually, it's only 2. Should be
Yeah.
8 years, but now it's only 2 years. Like the shortest anniversary ever,
Yeah, right.
or the longest. I guess it's the longest because every
I
four
mean,
years.
it is.
They must go all out on that day. Like
You have
every
to.
leap
You
year, they
have to.
just off the rails.
Yeah. I say if you actually wait till the 29th itself, you have to
hmm
like go crazy.
Um,
So
it was a choice. I mean, yeah, I guess you would choose when your wedding is. That's on them. Uh,
right.
oh my god, I'm not reading that.
All right. On to the next news.
On to the next one. Okay, so this is kind of like two in one.
Mhm.
So Apple's iPhone 15 Pro is turning heads by unveiling the ultimate gaming powerhouse capability. Uh, and it's shown that it can run top tier AAA games pretty much ease. And coming out literally in 3 days' time on a phone, a bloody phone, is Death Stranding. How? Like, how is someone with an iPhone 15 Pro running games better than me on my PC?
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
I truly don't get it. I It baffles me because like how the iPhone 15, I don't get how it's gonna have such good graphics and work so well, and then kind of taking a shot at Nintendo here, but like how is Nintendo still working with like PS4 and a half graphics or whatever?
Oof.
Like it just makes me feel like they have the capability. There's just something that they, I don't know, like on their end that they're not wanting to do.
Maybe the Switch
So
2 will change that. Hopefully.
hopefully,
The quality does need to improve in their games.
yeah. Well,
Especially
hopefully,
for the price as well. I mean, the price is definitely cheaper than PlayStation games now, like day ones, but
yeah.
still, like better quality. Just have it run better as well. Like I have no issue with like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom from what I've seen, but like just a little bit extra would be incredible.
hmm So, but I mean, this is a necessary step when we talk about everything going to the cloud and people using mobile gaming.
hmm
So I don't know. It's gonna be cool. I'm curious to see how Death Stranding plays like in full and how much of a toll it takes on like your battery and stuff if you essentially need to have your phone plugged in to play these
Ooh.
games and
Yeah.
how that's gonna work. So and just over time too, like how taxing this will be on the phone. So it's a lot of we'll see.
hmm I mean, uh, my friend can run his PlayStation games on his Google Pixel. So I've seen it advertised where they like online where you can play your games, but like that's
Yeah.
insane. Like surely the performance isn't as good as playing it on console. It can't be, right? It's got to be like
Right.
at least filtered down. Like it doesn't load as much of the background or something because if you load in the full background, your phone is just going to be overheating and just
Right.
melt in your hand. Um, but yeah, I didn't actually have a look, but like I don't know if it's connecting a controller to it or actually playing it like this.
Yeah.
I didn't see
I don't know.
how to play.
'Cause I wonder I'm sure the backbone would be compatible with it.
hmm
Um and I wonder if it'll have kind of the same layout as like the PS app when you use remote play, that's what it's called.
hmm
Where like it's on your phone but you still have the joysticks and everything. Um so I really don't know. I don't know how it's gonna work in practice and how well it's gonna be and how good it's gonna feel. Because
hmm
like playing remote play a couple times, like even just Mortal Kombat, which is just left, right, and then the buttons, it's clunky.
Mhm.
I do not like it. So
Yep.
it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure Backbone is like the perfect answer to it.
That's fair. Talking about bones.
Ha! Good segue. Yeah, Skull and Bones, Ubisoft's like pirating game. They announced their open beta will be starting on February 7th on PC, Xbox Series S and X, and PS5. And the open beta will contain exclusive rewards that will carry over to the full game. So I'm definitely going to be trying it out. I like the word exclusive rewards, and it's open beta, so I'll actually get to try the game out. I've been waiting for this game to come out, so I'm very excited. I will be putting time into the beta.
Mm-hmm.
Will you be playing it?
Maybe. See, I always look at betas and then I always miss them. So maybe I'll try. It's like the first Descendants, I think it was. That beta that happened. Completely missed that. Downloaded it, but didn't play it. So, oh no,
Yeah.
I always seem to miss the betas. I don't know why. Just seem to do it. If I'm on PlayStation at the time, I probably will load it up and give it a go. If I have the
Yeah.
storage.
Right.
Uh,
But yeah.
ooh, hard maybe there. See, that's the thing. Like, I maybe play it for like an hour just to get a general feel and of the controls and stuff. But I don't know if I'm that hyped about this game. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess main reason I'm really excited for it is because I've always wanted to play Sea of Thieves. I've never gotten the chance to.
Mhm.
I love the look of that game. I know this is obviously different art style and completely different game of itself, but I'm hoping it's the same amount of fun. Although I remember the closed beta and everything, people were like literally stopping playing because they were bored. So
Oh no.
yeah, hopefully there's more to the game.
Well, apparently that game's been in the works for years. I think I've heard that too. I
I would
think.
say I feel like it was announced quite a while ago,
Mhm.
and it's just now actually getting a beta and everything. So
That scares me though. If the closed beta had nothing to do and it's been in development for years, it's kind of scary.
yeah, it is. So
Mhm.
it's definitely why I want to try out the beta
Mhm.
because I want to play it, and I would rather try the beta than spend my money on it eventually and not like it. So
That's a good point. So the game's not free to play; it's actually payable, is it?
I guess I don't know. I just assumed it'd be because it's Ubisoft.
So the last of the news now is the PS Plus games that are leaving in February. So this is pretty much your last chance to play these games, get them try and complete them because some of them are quite big. So you have Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown. You got Hui. I think that's how you pronounce it. Hui. Hui.
Hui,
Hu.
Hui,
Hu.
Hui,
Hu.
Hui.
Hue. It's Hugh.
It's probably Hughes. Yeah,
Yeah. I am Setsuna. Lost Sphere. Lost Words Beyond the Page. That sounds like a cool name of a game.
right.
Uh, Oninaki? Don't, never heard of that game. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is leaving. Tacoma. Tekken 7 is leaving, so the new one comes out and then the old one gets kicked into the dust and forgotten. And Thomas Was Alone. I actually am right now. I'm the only one in this flat, so I am alone. But I am probably leaving my aloneness in February, so I'm never gonna be alone after Feb. So that's good. That is good. Sorry, a joke. If anyone didn't know, my name's Thomas. So, joke. Funny. Um, onto DLCs. Woo!
All right, so now on to the main topic, which is DLC. And for those of you listening and watching at home, if you don't know what DLC is, Grubb, explain it for him.
Uh, DLC is downloadable content. It's usually additional content after the game has already been released. So like let's say after release 3 months later, they'll bring out something fresh for people to download, play, And honestly, it could be a range of things. It could be a new character, a new level, literally a new mode, even larger expansions, pretty much their own game, essentially. And sometimes these DLCs, they can be sold individually, but usually with a lot of games, they're season pass, which gives you a discount if you buy all in one go. And usually it's at the start of the game, so like you pre-order all the DLCs, so you get them on the day of their release. Um, yeah, do you know where it started on console, at least?
So on console, at the very least, the first DLC was actually off of Dreamcast, although it was very limited. Like the DLC was super small because of the bandwidth of the Dreamcast.
I can imagine.
It was kind of on most consoles from there on out, although the PlayStation, if I remember right, didn't have it to start with until the PS2, and that was still limited because it didn't have the online capabilities really. It was more of the physical
Hmm.
DLCs. Um, but then Xbox, the first Xbox had it there because it had some internet capabilities, and I mean now it's a very prominent thing, like you said with season passes. It's one of the biggest aspects of gaming now. Most games that come out, you expect DLC. Like it is just
Hmm.
a thing now.
Exactly.
So
And there's obviously the price of this DLC can vary. Like if it's a small thing, it could be like £1, $1 to like £5, but then bigger ones, they can range up to quite a large amount. And again, usually the season pass would be a slightly bit cheaper discount if you got them all in one go. But that is again very risky. Because let's say if you stop playing the game, but you've bought the season pass, you've kind of just wasted a bit of money there.
mhm.
Um, but no, with PlayStation 2, The Sims 2 had different discs for its DLC.
Yeah,
So you'd have to load up like the university. I'm pretty sure there was a university expansion pack for them. You'd have to buy the disc version and run the new disc to play the game. So yeah, it's pretty cool how it's transpired from you have to buy a new game, essentially a new disc, to they add it to the game that you've already got. So
right.
yeah, that is a good transition. Um, Before we start on to like other games and personal games that you've played and DLC, what is your thoughts on DLC as a whole? Um, yeah, it's going to be that spread of a question. You
Yeah,
can answer it any way you
I
want.
I think done properly and like with loving care, it's only a good thing. I mean, for people who love a certain franchise, like I know there's people. I literally work with people who only play Call of Duty. So the DLC in that game, they love how fresh it is, like how fresh it makes the game. It makes it feel different. Right. I'll let them be in their own Call of Duty world. It's okay. They play what they like. Um, but as long as it's not really done for like gouging, and as long as they deliver like a fair amount, if the price is fair for what they're giving you, I don't mind it.
Mhm.
Um, like I said, I don't see an issue with it. More content, just more stuff for people to play. I don't see it as a bad thing.
Oh, that's fair. And
But
you've mentioned COD, so we'll start off with Call of Duty DLCs. So obviously in the past there was season passes every year, and every 3 months a new DLC pack will drop, map packs. Usually it was 4 games, and they started adding remakes to the DLC, which I didn't like because you're essentially buying the map again from a previous game that you've already bought. Um, we're not doing a 6-hour DLC podcast on Call of Duty. No.
I mean,
Um,
I mean, tier list every map pack.
Tier list every Oh my goodness. No, we're never doing that. But yeah, that was like what, £40 to get the season pass, and the game itself was 45. So at the
Mm-hmm.
time, you're basically spending the full amount on the game again for these map packs, which all it contained was 16 maps over the course of the year. It was a lot. And now, obviously, it's free. Um, so like you just go through the seasons, and the DLC, the maps are free, and they come out in the seasons. I kind of preferred that because it's free, but they also reduce the
Yeah.
amount of stuff they give you with the season pass now. So yeah, there's positives. It's now free, but like it's a lot of remakes for free now, which I'd prefer that than paying for the remakes. So
Right.
at least we got that going for us. Um, but it's not just the maps which are DLC. We've spoke about it. The microtransactions, um, the loot boxes. That's
Hmm.
DLC. That's downloadable content. Like obviously, it's a kind of a gamble, but it's still DLC. You've then got the skin packs. You've got the camo packs back in Black Ops 2, where you could have a bacon camo.
Yep.
Like that type of DLC is kind of harmful because if you buy it at all, that's a lot of money as well. Like it all adds up. Like it looks like it's £2.99, but like if you buy everything, that's a lot of money that you're spending.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like most games did this in the PlayStation 3 era. Was like there was always season passes, and always these small consumables that you could buy and work your way through.
Right.
So
And I mean,
what games? Sorry.
what games?
Yeah, what games?
I was I was gonna say Black Ops 2. I didn't mind the DLC, like you were talking about the camo packs, because that is completely optional, and there's definitely games now with the DLC that it's almost a requirement you get it to experience it fully.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think, it borders a line of, like, you know, why not put it, if you're gonna require it for, like, to get the full game sense and everything, why not just put it in there to begin with?
Yep.
Um, and especially if you're having to pay for it at some point, I don't know. Like I said, it has to be done properly. Um, but there's a lot of games now that do kind of do it properly. Like, I mean, been talking about it a bunch, but the God of War DLC, Valhalla, completely free to play, and it added to the story. It was like a completely different mode.
Mm-hmm.
It essentially, like, it's completely optional. It's detached. It does tie in some stuff from the game from Ragnarok,
Yep.
but it's more of like, oh, did you just want to dive deeper into some stuff in the end? Like, then here's this DLC.
Yep.
And I think when it's done like that, it's perfect.
No, I agree. It comes to a limitation though. Like some of the DLC can be branded pay to win. Um, and that's where like one of the issues with DLC comes because you're kind of forcing the person's hand to buy stuff because it offers them such an advantage.
Yep.
Um, Now I can't think of one off the top of my head, but there's definitely been things where, I mean, loot boxes. You buy a loot box, Advanced Warfare, you get this gun that is the best in the game. So yeah, it was very pay to win. Um,
The Peacekeeper, I think, is like the first version of that, because that gun was extremely good, and you
yes,
could only purchase it with real money.
yep, that was insane, man.
So
I can't believe
yeah.
they ever did that. Because at least make it so that there was a challenge to unlock it, like the next season or something like that.
Right.
Because otherwise you were just forcing people to spend the £15 on the map pack to get the gun. And it's pretty shady because I saw a graph, and graphs are cool. It showed that the initial revenue from the game purchases was never higher than the DLC. The DLC was always the main thing for GTA 5. Um, I have it actually here on my screen. Essentially, every time like the heists came out and stuff, the additional content revenue just went woof. So yeah, that was GTA, and the more things that they brought out, they just kept getting more and more money.
Right. Which I think, I mean, it's another thing that incentivizes these companies to, make the DLC, and, if they make them good enough, people will pay for it, and it does
Hmm.
bring a huge payday for them.
Yep.
Um, So I mean, companies seeing a graph like that, they're like, oh, DLC, and makes me wonder if some games in development they hold back certain aspects and
Hmm.
certain things for DLC because they know it's just another payday essentially for them.
So, uh, I mean, with a lot of the games, as we just mentioned, it feels like they released the whole game, but they already have all the content for the DLC prepared from the start. Um, I don't really like that because that just seems like a cash grab. Because they
Yep.
know people will buy it. If you've already developed that part of this game, then just release it. Like, it's annoying because you know full well when they haven't even released the game and they're saying, "Oh, by the way, this is coming as DLC." You've not even released the full game yet, and you're saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, you need to spend more money." So it's like
Right.
it. That's one of the downsides with DLC. Um, but I also understand why they do it because if you release this map or this character 2 months later, the amount of people that go back to the game to play it, it goes up. So I know retention is a big factor, but it's also pretty shitty.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the retention is definitely an issue because especially with games like Mortal Kombat, where it's the same thing over and over again. Those new characters that come out every 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, it's like the only thing that kind of refreshes it,
Hmm.
especially for those who only play online. Um, so I totally get that. And then also, like you were saying, when they have it before they announce it before the game even comes out, oh, here's DLC. Like Mortal Kombat did that this year. They announced all the characters for the first combat pack, um, which part of me is okay with. If like I don't know, there's a line where like you're announcing everything. I'd rather know everything that I'm getting when I buy the combat pack rather than some games where like, oh, there's DLC coming out by the season pass. There will be, these amount of things, but they don't say like what they are.
Hmm.
That kind of sketches me out a little bit because what if it's something I don't care for, don't like. Like I know Smite does it when it comes to skins. They'll
Hmm.
like say which gods and goddesses the skins are for. Won't show them.
Ah.
So it's a little sketchy
Hmm.
because then you could pay that full price and get something you completely dislike.
Yep. No, I agree. I guess visibility is good. But like at least share it after you've released the game so it doesn't look like you've just made it and gone, we'll withhold all this from the players to start with and just put
Right.
a money barrier on this so only people who can afford it can get it. Um, or people who can't afford it to try and find money to buy that more than them buying their food and stuff, like, because they really want
Right.
this character or something like that. So I don't like the practice, but I understand it from the developer's point of view. Get
Yep.
people back in the game, because if they're playing your game, there's a high chance they keep buying some stuff. And
Yeah.
I mean, look at GTA shark cards. Just keep if you're playing the game, you've run out of money, you could just buy a shark card, get additional revenue, to spend on more stuff. So for them, keeping people on their game is the biggest point. Um,
Yep.
so like them adding heists, even I went back for GTA for that.
Right.
Played the heists, absolutely loved it. Pretty sure when they free.
Yeah. Most of GTA's DLC, as far as I'm aware, has been free, especially
Mhm.
for online.
Well, that's the thing. They added free stuff because they don't need you to pay for it because there's so many people buying shark cards and buying other
Yep.
stuff for GTA. Like they're making enough money as it is. So fair play to GTA and the devs for not making it paid, and allowing everyone to play it.
Right.
Because free DLC is the best DLC.
Right. And Rockstar's kind of nailed it with like the shark card system because I mean, if you play GTA online, money isn't hard to get. It just takes time.
Hmm.
But then there's people who, when they come back for these DLCs, they haven't put the time into it, and they're just, they impulse buy the shark cards because they want to buy everything from the new DLC right away without putting the time into it. So, like, I think GTA's got kind of a perfect system. for their DLC. It's a good balance of the people who actually put the time in the game can experience the DLCs freely with no money, but then those people who just use money instead of time, it works for them too.
Yeah, and it's kind of sneaky from GTA because obviously having these shark cards, they kind of like they're always in your face, kind of. Whenever you go into the store, they're there.
Yeah,
And it's sneaky from them, but I think I prefer that over, oh yeah, you need to buy the DLC to access the stuff. So that it feels more optional. Like if you want to buy more money, in-game money with your real money, then that's up to you.
right,
But for me, I wouldn't. I'd rather just slowly go through the game myself and choose what to buy in that game because I don't have
right.
everything. Um, I mean, at the start, I used the free cars and just tried to get them good.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was called. There was a muscle car and then also like a Porsche type looking car. I used them all the time. I didn't buy cars.
yeah. There's like I know it was a popular thing. They had the Sultan, which is a free car that you could soup up, and it was like when you souped it up, it was one of the fastest cars in the game. So that was like my starting strategy. It was the only car I had for the longest time.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think GTA, like you said, they do a good job at making it not feel forced. Although they throw it in your face a lot.
Hmm.
I mean, if you play the game, you know it's not necessary.
I mean, one of the DLC purchases I bought in GTA was the vehicle where it was very hard to get killed because obviously normally cars you get shot and die. I bought that car pretty much instantly when it came out. And again, you don't buy it with real money. You buy it with in-game money. So it
Right,
was my choice to buy that and it felt worth it. So it just depends on like how much time you have, and you've mentioned that if you don't have the time and you want it, like you could just buy a short card. So it's kind of like for GTA and their releases, it's solely optional, and if you want to do it quicker, then you can buy it.
right.
Um,
And GTA Online too is like it's essentially everything you do in that game now is DLC because at the very beginning it was very bare bones. It was
mhm.
mainly just missions. Like you could rob gas stations, that kind of thing. But now all the ways to make money, it's all from DLC. So, and I think that's definitely a case they didn't withhold because GTA Online was kind of an experimental thing. They saw how good it did, and then I mean that's been their bread and butter since.
It's actually
So,
insane how well that game is doing, and it's 11 years old now, and it's still earning Rockstar so much money. So they've done it right, and they can probably afford to make all this DLC and all this content for people for free because they get so much back from it, and
right?
it's because they've done it properly. It's because
Yep.
they've done it properly. Whereas other games, I mean, I stopped buying the DLC for CODs after a while because I was just there like, it's not worth it. Um, I'd rather just play the maps that you give me at the start of the game because most of the maps were terrible at times. You're just there
Yeah.
like, well, I'm just paying for this terrible map, which I don't enjoy. And I didn't know about it at the start of the game because you just told me to buy the season pass, and you only figure out after one's been released what maps you're getting for the next one. So
Yep.
yeah, there's again visibility is huge.
It is. And I mean, I don't know if you remember those annoying little messages when you were playing Call of Duty with someone who had the map packs and you didn't, but it was like throwing
Oh,
it in your face. It was like members of the party do not own blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, thanks for the reminder. I don't want it. Like
it
Call
was
of Duty did
basically
everything to get you to buy those.
yeah, it's basically their way to guilt trip you. Like, oh, but your friends have the DLC. You're stopping them from playing the DLC maps. That's their fault. They bought it. Like, they don't have to play with me, but they are, and that's fine.
Yeah, right.
Um, should we go on to individual games now? Um,
Can do.
So we've already obviously spoke about the DLC boosting the player engagement within games, more marketing power, advertisement power. I'm actually gonna, before the games, speak about what Nintendo do. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
so essentially they have like a
Like, 'cause
yearly. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm unfamiliar with Nintendo's system, so
Okay. So they have something which you can pay £6, I believe, to get online. But there's also another one where it gives you all the expansions for Nintendo games. So if you have that, you can get all the Mario Kart maps that have just came out. I mean, that was in 8 bundles, I'm pretty sure, and each time
yeah,
there was more tracks and stuff like that. And it's just a yearly cost. You get all the DLC for any of the games. You also get access to some of their older games as well, which is really cool.
yeah,
So like, Nintendo do it well.
yeah. I mean, I think it's a really good system.
Hmm.
Like, it allows people, if they want to, if they know they play a lot of games with DLC, pay that yearly cost and get them, and then I guess because there are people who like just play Mario Kart. Like, I know it's a family console,
Hmm.
so people can still just go out and buy the DLC themselves if they want. If there's only certain maps they want,
Yep.
so I don't see a bad side to that system, really.
No, I don't either. I know I didn't buy that when I bought the Nintendo DLC. Oh my god. Breath of the Wild DLC.
Yeah,
I actually just went on and bought the Breath of the Wild because I didn't really see the point in the yearly pass. I think it could be also monthly. So you don't have to pay yearly.
right,
Like just wasn't playing enough Nintendo games to justify that. I'd rather just buy the DLC for Breath of the Wild, because that was the game I was playing at the time.
right.
And I'll actually go into detail more on the Breath of the Wild DLC. So they had like 2 expansion packs, the Master Sword Trials and the Champion's Ballad. Um, I completed the Champion's Ballad. I didn't complete the Master Sword Trials. I got halfway and gave up because I was just dying all the time.
Hmm.
But both of them were really good DLCs. So the Master Sword Trials was you get all your stuff taken off you, and you go into like these dungeon. I say it's dungeons, but you got to kill all the enemies, and then you go to the next one. So it was kind of roguelike.
Roguelike, yeah,
Um, and then at the end, I'm pretty sure you get an upgraded Master Sword, or you get the Master Sword. I can't remember which. I think it's an upgraded one because you did get the Master Sword for doing the first one, or I don't know. I think you already had the Master Sword in the main game, but this was to like upgrade it.
hmm,
Again, I haven't completed it, so I don't fully know. But I completed the other one, the Champion's Ballad, and they give you a one-hit weapon. So if you get hit just once, you're dead.
hmm,
I know I died a few times doing this, but it led up to one of the biggest shrines in the game, which was incredibly fun, and then a world boss up top, and that fight was really fun, really annoying but fun. Um,
yeah,
but not like the DLC was really 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 fun, and it was what, £18 for 2 expansion packs. Like it was nothing really, and there was quite a lot to
yeah,
do. There was also like masks from older games like
yep.
incorporated, and they all did like different things. So I think, um, oh, what's the name of the game? Makora's Mask, I think it's called. Let me have a look. Uh,
Okay.
Makora's, yeah, oh my god, Majora's Mask. You put it on, and I'm pretty sure the enemies couldn't see you. Um, or something like that. And then you had the Korok mask, which allowed you to see the Korok seeds. Like it'll start shaking your mask, so you
Yeah,
knew that a collectible was nearby. There was 900 Korok seeds in that game. That's not DLC though. But there was 900 of them, and this mask helped you. And I'm pretty sure on the map it also showed you where you'd gone, so that you could try and track them.
Oh,
So yeah, that was good. Master Sword loses the cooldown on its power, so it's consistently at level 60. Okay. So it reduces because it used it and then you had to wait to use it again, so like you could just use it constantly. Is that what you're trying to say? You didn't even know Breath of the Wild had DLC. Well, this is your chance to go and play it because it's really fun. Like, honestly, the two DLC packs, they are good, and I wish I didn't give up on the Master Sword Trials. It was just so difficult, and it was like what 200 hours into the game, and I just got bored.
yeah, that's fair. That's a lot
So
of hours.
yeah, I just got burnt out. So maybe if I went back to it, yeah, maybe. Do you have any Nintendo games with DLC, or is it
No,
no?
not that I can think of.
You need to
Let's
play
say I
more
don't think
Nintendo.
I do. I mean, I said it was my plan for this year, and I have not turned on my Nintendo Switch, so I'm doing great on that. Um,
Goals.
yeah, let's say Mario Kart. I guess I don't. I don't know if I have any of the DLC packs for it because I bought the Switch from someone, but I don't know if they already had stuff installed on it.
Gotcha.
Definitely a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, Switch. No, I kind of mentioned it before we started the podcast itself. I haven't played too much DLC, like at least in my mind, what DLC is. Um, so especially now when it comes to Switch, because I haven't played Switch much. I didn't like Breath of the Wild, so I didn't know there was DLC. Um,
Um,
yeah, sorry, sorry, but
it's all good. We'll
yeah.
start with you then with the DLC that you've played uh over on PlayStation. um,
Okay, we briefed on it earlier. The Valhalla DLC, the main one. It's I want to say like 5-ish hours of content, but it's more. I liked it for the aspect that it took like a deep dive into Kratos' like emotional sense after Ragnarok.
mm-hmm.
Um, and I really like the roguelite aspect. It completely changes the game. Even if I was like burnt out on God of War's combat system, making it roguelike was perfect. It felt super fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. Like honestly, at times it was probably more fun than either of the Norse games themselves,
Okay.
just because it's constant action.
Yep.
Um, and what like I like it does incorporate back into the game from Valhalla. If you play enough of it, you can unlock cosmetics that you can use back in the actual game. So like you you can unlock a young Kratos cosmetic.
Okay.
So you can go back and essentially play Ragnarok as young Kratos, and it's pretty cool. So
That is.
Valhalla, it's super good. And then I guess we were talking about a combat pack, so I have the combat pack for Mortal Kombat.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one. I mean, it's just characters every so often though. So like I know I haven't played it since Chameleon just came out. She's a cameo character, but Peacemaker's up next. John Cena's DC character.
Okay.
So that'll be fun. I'm excited for that. So,
Can you see him?
but besides, get out.
Sorry.
It's horrible. You had to. You had to.
I
It's
had to.
okay. I understand. I completely understand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, no, I think those are like the main ones that come to my head. Maybe you, I mean, talking through some of yours will jar some of my head because you have. I guess I think about DLC very differently than what it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Like in my eyes, I mean, kind of made fun of me for it earlier. I didn't classify Valhalla as a DLC. It just didn't pop into my head as DLC
Yep.
because it was like free and it was something I didn't really have to go out of my way
Uh,
to get.
yep. Okay, it froze for a second, so just making sure that it
Ah,
unfroze. Okay, I'll go through some of mine then.
okay.
Another Nintendo one because it was on a different page, so I didn't see it. And this is one that I've played with a lot of people on stream. Pokemon Sword and Shield. I bought the DLC for that game as well, so I guess there was 2 DLCs I bought on Nintendo. Um,
Hmm.
and there was a mode called Dynamax Adventures. And again, it's kind of like you choose paths to go through the cave, and you'll see an outline of a Pokemon there, and you get given 4 random ones at the start of the game to choose one. I think it's 4 or 3. So you pick which one you want, and then it'll change to another one so someone else can pick. And you've got to like work together as a team, and you can only have like 3 deaths before you get kicked out. And basically, you go all the way to the end, and there's a legendary Pokemon at the end that you fight. And you pretty much catch all of them. And at the end, you can pick which one you want to keep. So I had a lot of fun with that because there's strategy in Pokemon with people. So like I done on stream, had people play with me, and we were just having a
Yep.
laugh. Obviously saying, okay, we should pick this one because the next one is weak to this. But also be careful because after that you'll be weak to the next uh Pokemon. So, there's a lot of strategy. Like you might take an L at one stage, but it's for the best because the next Pokemon we need that for the end legendary Pokemon. And yeah, I think the chances of getting a shiny was 1 in 100, I want to say.
Hmm.
Um, and I won the race because we did a Dynamax Adventure shiny hunt race, and I won. I got Vaporeon as a shiny, and I'll always rub it in. And I also beat B-Way again because we done a normal shiny race, which they did the egg method, and I done the random encounter method, and I got a shiny in that as well. So I'm undefeated shiny hunter. Um, I'm still waiting for someone to beat me. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
You flexing.
Oh yeah, I
I'll
am.
sh- I'll shiny race you in Pokemon Go. My shiny luck in that game is otherworldly.
I mean, I've
Not
only got
not
one.
Nadia gets upset with me because I'll get shinies and she won't, and she gets upset. So
Fair enough. Maybe you should use her phone and she uses yours. Maybe the luck transfers. Maybe it's you.
maybe, maybe,
Maybe. Yeah. Watch you just never get shinies anymore in that one as well.
yeah.
Just
Switch phones back. First Pokemon on my phone. Oh, shiny.
shiny. Oh, okay. So I'll start talking about other DLCs now on PlayStation because again, I've only been really a PlayStation player, from when I was young to now. So I'm gonna go with probably one of my favorite DLCs ever, The Witcher 3 DLCs. Um, Blood and Wine and Hearts of Stone. Hearts of Stone was essentially just a mini story within the world you already had. So it just added some quests that took like 5 hours. And it was pretty fun. Uh, and honestly, it was kind of creepy. It was a lot of like, oh my god, what is going on? Like the person could slow down time or stop time. So like he took out someone's heart, I'm pretty sure. Well, obviously the time was stopped so that when he restarted the time, the person just dropped. Um, and it was some shady stuff. And the final bit was like you needed to find them, and it was really clever with what they did. And if you don't find them, I'm pretty sure you die. Um, so that took me a few attempts to figure out, like, because it was a riddle, right? You had to solve the riddle. Um, and in the end, I was like, oh my god, I've solved it. And then Blood and Wine, it was essentially a brand new game. Like, I would not be surprised if they like released it one day at like £40 because it was a massive area, a whole new storyline, and I absolutely loved it. But the only bad thing was I was 160 hours into the game, or 130 hours into the game, and the combat's very competitive. The bash, 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 fire, bash, bash, fire. So, in the end, I got a bit just burnt out on The Witcher 3, but that doesn't take away from the DLC. It was incredible. It was so good. Have you ever played Witcher?
Nope, never even touched it. Haven't tried it once.
Oh my god. Okay, that's a game you really need to play. Um, when I played it on the hardest difficulty straight up. Death March. It wasn't that difficult. It is at first, but then once you get some abilities and stuff, it's actually a good level of difficulty. And I was very glad I played it on the hardest difficulty as well, because it's a trophy, and I thought it was going to be harder, but really, it really wasn't. It just took the fights longer. Like if you play on the easier ones, the fights are a lot quicker. Nice thumbs up, by the way. I saw that in the corner of my eye. But no, the next one I've put down is Destiny DLC. Tell me you played Destiny.
I have.
Okay. Did you play any of
I,
the DLCs?
not that I'm aware of. I don't think so. I only put like 8 to 10 hours into it.
Oh,
Oh, I don't know how the DLC is incorporated in that game.
paid.
So I guess I may have touched some DLC.
Yeah,
No? Okay.
You'd have to pay.
Okay. Oh well then, yeah, no.
Okay, so I'll talk about Destiny DLC on my own then. So the first ones was to do with Crota, and this raid that was incorporated into this DLC was so fun. Like my mate used to solo it and just keep soloing it and soloing it and soloing it, to the point where like you learn skips. So at one point there was a bridge, and all you needed was a sword, and you could do the bridge skip. You land underneath where you're supposed to go, but then you can jump up, and it was just so fun. I could never do it. So if we were ever playing, would let them go over, we all jump off the map, let them complete it, go, and when he loads up the next area, we all respawn in that next area. So it's kind of like just getting a free loot and stuff like that. But that raid was incredible. I loved it. And then the next one was not a raid. It was more of a roguelike thing, Prison of Elders. So like you go into a room, do whatever it tells you to do, kill the enemies, and then come out, and at the end there'll be a boss fight. That was fun, but it was repetitive. And I think when you had raids and they take away the raids and put in this mode, people were like, I want a raid. Because like the raids are really fun in Destiny. And did you do the first one, Vault of Glass?
Mm-mm.
You didn't?
I haven't done a raid, no.
Oh, the raids made the game. Maybe that's why you only played 8 hours, because you didn't do the raids. Because me and my friends, we have so many hours on this game, and Crota was probably a lot of it. Prison of Elders was a lot of it as well, because I liked the formats and there was like weekly challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Trials of Osiris was like the multiplayer part of the game, and I think it was you needed to get like 10 wins, but you could only lose 3 times online.
Oh,
And if you got it and you completed it, you go to the lighthouse and get some good loot.
mm-hmm.
So that was really fun, competitive wise. And then finally for me, because there was the first 2 years was 2 packs, then the next year was just 1 pack, and that was the Taken King, and that was a whole new disc. You had to go and buy the game again, essentially, to unlock this content. And that was the last one I bought for Destiny, because I kind of got away from it. And I had a really fun raid as well. With Crota's dad, I think, as the main boss, potentially. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Again, Destiny just seemed to do it right with the DLCs. There was a lot of content just normally. With the storyline, they added a lot more like dungeons and um, added multiplayer maps to play online in the Crucible. They also added the raids, so there was a lot to do. The Taken King also added a whole new area, which we'd never seen before. So, yeah, Destiny DLC did it right. It was expensive though, very expensive. And they had another one after the Taken King, which I didn't buy, which I've already mentioned. But I still can't believe you hadn't played Destiny. I guess, did your friend group just not play it?
Yeah, pretty much. It was when the time I tried it. It was me and Cable, if anyone knows him, or Andrew, my brother. Him and I played it, and then it was like shortly after that, the other people that we usually played with got back on, and we're like, "Oh, let's start up this game," because it was very much in that time where it was just a group thing. We'd go from game to game. So if the group wasn't playing Destiny, I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And now I feel like with Destiny 2, it's a thing where I'm so far behind, I don't know how I would start. Because I did like the gameplay, I did like it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just I'd have to look into it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Destiny 2 now has removed the base game from the game. So now, basically, you load up Destiny and it's all DLC. Only DLC.
Oh.
But they've made the game free to play. So the main game, which I paid for, is now gone. I've only got the free to play thing. So I don't really play it anymore. There's so much to it. There's so many DLCs. I mean, there's a new DLC coming out soon. And obviously, with all the layoffs, which were mentioned, it's going to be kind of cool to see how it works out, whether it's still going to be the good quality that Destiny usually brings, and whether they're actually able to meet what expectations they have, because most Destiny DLCs were good. They were very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Except for Destiny. I did have Call of Duty down, but we've already spoke about Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Now another thing that I want to bring up, and this will affect you as well, because you're starting to do platinums and all that stuff. The DLC has its own kind of folder and trophy list within the game, which again is a good thing. But if you don't buy the DLC, that's still on your account, and it still shows as incomplete on PSN profiles. So like if you've 100%ed the main game and the DLC comes out, you lose that 100% of the game. And it shows that you're missing trophies. I understand why they do it, but like they should be able to say, "Oh well, I haven't purchased it. Can you get it off?"
Right.
Because it does kind of force you to buy it.
Yeah, I mean it should track. It should show up as an incomplete like game just because you don't want to fork out an extra $60 for the DLCs and get the trophies. And sometimes the trophies on the DLCs are like silly,
Ridiculous.
like yeah. So, and I mean the DLC trophies never go into the platinum as far as I'm aware.
Nope.
So, like if you're just a platinum hunter, like you'll get the platinum, yeah, but then it shows up incomplete, and for some people it's annoying because they want 100% and get platinum without paying the extra.
Yeah, totally. Like a lot of people love 100% completing the games and see it not be 100% on PSN profiles, Xbox achievements, that type of stuff. It's annoying. Like it really can be annoying. And to be honest, I don't really look at DLC trophies all that much. Because again, I'm mainly just a platinum hunter. If I can 100% the game, sure, but like I don't really look at doing that with the DLCs.
Right.
Because I don't really see the point unless it's like a really good DLC.
Mm-hmm.
And what is a really good DLC is all the Spider-Man DLCs. It's essentially what the same map, but like it removes everything from the main game and just adds its own stuff. I really like that. Have you played the Spider-Man DLCs?
Nope. I need to go back and play them. I have I've talked about it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I
Well,
do plan on it.
they're good, and you should really go and play them. Because it basically just resets the map, and like when you scroll through the map and see what's left to do, you see the new ones like 0 out
Hmm.
of, and it's really funny. It's a way to keep track, but you can always go back to the main game and carry on with that. So no, Spider-Man's are really good. Did you ever play Dying Light?
Yep, and I did not enjoy it. Dying Light's another game I've played, and I did not get into it.
Oh my god. I thought that game was incredible with friends. Did
Mm.
again?
No, never played it multiplayer, so that could definitely be a reason.
Yeah. I used to play it all the time with my cousin, and we would just go around drop kicking zombies off places, and it was so fun. Um, but their DLC, they had one called the Bozak Horde, and that was basically you were trapped and you had to try like get out in round based. I didn't enjoy that DLC, but then they came out with a massive one called The Following. And essentially, The Following started in the original map, and then you go through like a sewer. I'm pretty sure it's a sewer. And you get to the other side, and it's like a massive open world, large fields which you don't see in the base game, and you could drive vehicles in this one. So you could literally run over zombies. I'm pretty sure you had to refuel as well, which I enjoyed. And it just gave another like story aspect to the game. I really enjoyed The Following. I've never completed it though, which really bothers me. Um, but that area, and it changed the leveling up system as well with the DLC, which again they didn't have to do it, and the leveling up system stuck for the main game as well. Um, and you need to play Dying Light. It's such a fun game. Did you complete the story?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you need to.
No, like I said, I didn't find it fun for the hours I put into it. I want to say I got 4 or 5 into it,
Yeah, that's not
and
enough.
I just the gameplay was just I didn't enjoy it.
Mhm.
But I can see how playing it with people makes it better because Dead Island. I don't know if you've played, but that's kind of the same thing for me. I
No,
like it way better with friends than I do single player.
I need to play them
Um,
games.
yeah, they're very good. Riptide, not so great, but
Mm,
Dead Island, and then I haven't played Dead Island 2 quite yet. But I know that just came out with the DLC, so
okay.
a bigger one they were hyping up. But I know that Dying Light DLC is good because I've heard of it, and like I don't keep up with Dying Light stuff, and I know it by name, The Following,
Hmm.
so I know it had to have been something special. So
It was special, and it made me go back to Dying Light. Like that's the power of DLC as well. Like, we've mentioned it so many times. If a DLC is done right, you go back to playing the game and you buy it,
mhm,
and then you've got the DLC to play. But then it also makes you think, oh, I'll play the main game again. And I played the
mhm,
main game again, so it had more of my time. I had more players playing it because of this new DLC, and obviously that one was a massive, massive success. And another
mhm.
horror game with a really, really good DLC, which I've literally put down better than the main game, Whistleblower for Outlast.
Ah, yeah,
Have you
that's
played
another
it?
one I know by name. No,
Oh
I
my
played
god!
Outlast. I know. I played Outlast. It was okay.
Yep.
So what's the DLC? Like what is it?
It's essentially the same thing, but it's a different perspective. Like you're in there at the same time as the events are happening. Um, and then I can't remember the storyline, but it's for me it was a lot scarier and it was better than the main game. I don't know. It it, it grabbed me more because I don't think Outlast 1 is that scary.
Yeah, it was all right. A few jump scares here and there
Yeah,
that got me, but
yeah,
I mean that's it. Any game can do a jump scare. So
yeah. Even normal games without being scary. I mean, it was mainly like gore as well, I guess.
yeah.
But like Outlast 1 just wasn't that scary. I haven't played Outlast 2 yet. But that's more of a it looks freaky more than
I'm gonna
anything.
say Outlast 2, is that like the culty one?
Yes.
Yeah, I say I played that for a Halloween stream a couple years back,
Is it good?
and I mean, yeah, it's pretty good. I enjoy it because that's the type of stuff that I like, is like the creepy, like there's a scene where you come in and there's people outside of the fences in the fields
Oh
that just
no.
stare. You can see their eyes, and then when you look at them, they just back away slowly. Stuff like that I like in horror games more than jump scares, because I think it takes more like creativity and setting
Mm-hmm.
than just, oh hey, random noise and flash. So
Bang. Yeah.
yeah,
But no, I just think the whistleblower just brought a lot to the game, and it was a lot of fun because it kind of connected the end as well. Uh,
okay,
I'm pretty sure the person you play in the main game, because obviously what happens at the end, I'm pretty sure he lets you go in the DLC, but I can't fully remember. Um, so you got that aspect as well.
yeah,
And I think I've only got one more that I'm going to talk about because there's so many DLCs. I could be here forever.
right.
Not so quite you, but again, DLCs are optional, right? You don't. They
Right.
cost money, so uh, as much as I'm like, oh my god, you didn't play this, you didn't play that, like, it's fair enough. Uh, could be here for yeah, exactly. Could be here for a very long time. It could be Monday. But I mean, it is Monday when you're listening to this, but I guess it could be
Hey.
Tuesday. Which one of our podcasts has literally went over pretty much into the next
Yeah.
day if you're from the UK. Shout out Monday. Yeah. See, we put it out on Monday because Monday is normally the worst day of the week. So, we hit the podcast out on Mondays to liven up everyone's spirits. Oh no, what this is very off topic. What's the worst day of the week? I'm I'm asking you this question. It's not gaming related, but what's your worst day of the week?
Honestly, probably Sunday, just because it's with the way my work schedule works. Like I work on Sundays. I
Mm-hmm.
do 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. Um, so there's a lot on Sundays that I miss because I really like football, American football. Miss every single game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the only time I can watch like my favorite team play is Monday and Thursdays if they happen to play on those, which
Mm-hmm.
is far and few between. And then like it's my longest part of my schedule. It's 3 days in a row, but still it's that 3 days in a row versus two. So I
Oh, that
think
makes sense.
it's just one I most dread, because then I know like I got Monday and Tuesday coming up, which are usually slower days, which I hate at work because I'm one where I don't like having to find stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's honestly Sundays. What about
Yeah.
you?
Well, I would always go with like kind of either Monday or Tuesday. Because Monday is more like you're coming out of the weekend and you kind of just want it to be the weekend again. Again, I work 9
Mm-hmm.
till 5 weekdays, so it's got to be one of the weekdays. Friday is like,
Yeah.
oh my god, weekend. Saturday, Sunday, weekend. Um, so yeah, I think just Tuesday, really that closer to the weekend. Monday is the first day, so like you kind of just break yourself into work, and then Tuesday is like I'm actually working. Like I had work
Right.
yesterday, and I have work the next day, so I think it could be Tuesdays.
Yeah. Tuesdays are pretty rough. They're okay for me because it's one of my Fridays. So
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. That was very off topic.
I'll say that was random. What's your last DLC?
ESO. So
Oh
Elder Scrolls
yeah.
Online, basically any MMO. They usually do like a massive expansion every year, also. And Elder Scrolls Online is one that I played quite a bit. And that was mainly because I bought ESO Plus. And ESO Plus give you access to all of the DLC apart from the one that's currently like the main one.
Mm-hmm.
Which was so good. So basically, bought ESO Plus, and at the time, well, whenever you get ESO Plus, you get a craft bag, and it's unlimited storage.
Ah,
So if I wasn't doing anything or my mates were playing a different game, I'll go to this area called Hughes Bane, and it's a really small area. And I'd go around just going to every single point at the map, just collecting tons of stuff, and just basically harvesting and breaking the mines and stuff. And I spent like 2 hours a day pretty much just going around picking up stuff because I knew I'd need it in the future and I could sell it for coins.
Mhm.
And then there was the Thieves Guild stuff. So my mate used to just like take me around, so you had to be stealthy and he knew like the routing and when to go and stuff. And that stuff could be sold for like 10k each, so that was a good way of making
Oh.
gold as well. Um
Mhm.
and just like the dungeons that ESO comes out with. Again, I haven't played much of the new DLC. But when I started playing the game again, I'm 99% sure I started off in one of the DLC areas. I didn't
Yeah.
start off in the main game like I used to. I started off in, I think it's called Shadowfen. I could be very mistaken. Hopefully, B-Ways and chat and is able to go, naughty, you got it wrong. This is why you should play ESO more. He followed for ESO. I played for like 2 times extra and then stopped playing it. And they've been stuck around ever since because they can't leave. It's actually not allowed. But no, ESO MMO always got tons of DLCs. I mean, Final Fantasy 14 has got, what is it, 4? And the 5th one's coming soon. I mean, the main game that is now a Realm Reborn kind of DLC because the base game got deleted.
Yeah.
So I guess that's also kind of DLC, but obviously it's the main game now. So and that's another thing to speak about. Like DLC is taking over main games. It's happened in Destiny. It's happened in Final Fantasy because the game was that bad to start with. Um,
Mhm.
so DLCs can save games. I think
Yeah.
that's something that we also haven't really mentioned. Like if they miss on the initial release, a DLC, if done correctly, can save a game's legacy.
Well, I mean, even like a game like Grand Theft Auto, it didn't miss. Like the original game is still fantastic and
Mm-hmm.
amazing, but without the DLC like
Mm-hmm.
aspect of it, the game doesn't last 11 years.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they would have had to release GTA 6 a lot quicker, but now they've been able
Mhm.
to take longer to make it. So, it can only be a good thing. So, yeah, well, yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I mean, that's really all DLC, to be honest. I don't
Yeah.
really have much more to say, otherwise I'll be here forever. So,
Yeah.
let us know in the comments down below what DLCs you liked. I know Resident Evil 7 has a few DLCs that you can play. So leave it in February. Remember to play it if you want to play that DLC. Shout outs to PlayStation for taking off games. But no, again, everyone has their own DLCs that they want to play. I prefer the free ones, because usually it means that they care about them. It's weird,
Right.
isn't it? Because if they give it out for free, they want everyone to play it, and it kind of like they're happy with what they brought out. When it's paid, it's kind of like, I don't know if the passion's there, if that makes sense. You're kind of limiting what you're giving to the fan base. Um,
Right. I think it depends because also there's sometimes where that DLC may be, what a studio needs to keep development going on that.
mhm,
Sometimes it could be crucial because, like we mentioned, GTA shark cards, yes, they make a buttload off of that,
mhm,
but also they can release those DLCs for free because they don't need that money. They're a triple A massive studio that
mhm.
most of their games are massive successes.
Yep.
So they don't need to make people pay for them. But some games like if the day before would have lasted more than 3 days, that was it seemed like their plan was to DLC it up, but
Hey,
didn't get that far.
you can't just rely on DLC though. Like you
I
really,
know.
really can't.
No.
Um, I mean, let's be real with Cyberpunk. I mean, they're gonna be. Is Phantom Liberty already out? I think it's coming out. When their DLC hits, it's gonna be massive. Um,
Yeah.
um, I mean, they broke their game to start with. They fixed it, and they're gonna bring out a DLC, which is probably gonna be extremely good.
Yeah.
Um, again, just I think people gave it a chance because they were bringing out a DLC and they knew the DLC had a potential. And the fact that they've went back and fixed the main game kind of gives it even more potential. And they've completely changed it, so I need to play Cyberpunk again because they've changed the whole game. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that'll do it for DLC, I think. Nothing else to say?
No, I think we covered it.
Okay. On to the game. Okay, so game. Essentially, what we do every week is we alternate. One of us is the person giving clues, the other one is the guesser. And each time we give a clue, the point will go down. So you start with 5 points if you get it right on the first one. If you don't get it right and go to the second one, they'll give you 4 points, and so on. And if you don't get it at all, you get a 0 like Ace did 2 weeks ago.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, no worries. I
Thanks
needed
for
to
that.
remind. So are you ready for the first clue?
I am.
Okay. This game has sold 10.2 million units and 260 million in revenue.
So popular. 10.2 million units.
Yes.
Oh God, doesn't give me any sort of time frame though.
Nope.
Okay, let's just go with Sammy G's original guess before the podcast. We'll guess. We'll do Crash Bandicoot for It's About Time.
Incorrect.
Okay, cool.
IGN gave this game a 9 out of 10 in their review.
Ooh. I should know IGN reviews, but I don't.
Yeah, mate,
I
there's
use
so
their
many
app.
games.
I know. 10.2 million. Okay. With 9 reviews, obviously, pretty damn good game.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think. There's a lot of games I'm thinking of. I feel like they would give a 10, not a 9, but they don't give 10s out that often.
No.
Let's go with Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Nope. Nope.
Okay. They
Um,
probably gave that a 10, but
yeah, they probably did. This is a kind of a bigger clue. This game is a lot shorter than the other 2 games in the series.
I don't know if I want to guess what I'm thinking. If you're trying to pull something on me, because it is a lot shorter than the other 2 games. Is it Spider-Man Miles Morales? It is.
I tried to hit you with it. The
Oh, thank God.
I put, well, this was supposed to be the 4th one, but then I was like, the 3rd one, I came out in 2020 and I got the bundle for the PlayStation 5. If you knew, like, I think you would have got it anyway, so I tried to throw this one in, and then I put in 5, you would have definitely got it. You got this wrong 2 weeks ago, redeem yourself.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, I tried to sneak Miles Morales right back to you. So yeah, good job. I was hoping that you wouldn't guess it because I asked that question. Well, that was the answer 2 weeks ago. So
Yeah,
congrats.
that's why I didn't know if I wanted to guess it. But I figured coming into this you would try to do something live.
Mhm.
So try to pull something. So like honestly, before the podcast, I was researching everything about Kratos, like the history and the dates and everything, because I
Ooh.
thought it would be a perfect time for you to try to get Kratos or
Mhm.
God of War. So I mean, I'll take
Oh.
3 points.
Oh, so I could have literally said if I said something like this was shorter than the previous game or something like that, would you have guessed Valhalla? No, God of War Ragnarok? Because 9 out of 10, 10.2 million units. Pretty respectable game.
Yeah. Honestly, when you said 10.2, like my mind immediately went to God of War.
Okay.
So it was like in that ballpark, and then the 9, I don't know what IGN rated them, because I'm pretty sure the original God of War got a 10, and Ragnarok might have gotten a 9. That honestly sounds about right.
Ba, 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 ba.
I feel like
The bottom
Elden Ring
10.
is a
You got a 10.
Ragnarok out of 10.
You got a 10. But
There you go.
again, if you didn't know that, you might have guessed it for 9.
Right.
Because 9 and 10,
It was in the ballpark.
yeah, still very good. Oh, maybe I
So
should have
what
done
did
that.
Elden Ring get?
Elden Ring. Oh man, I could tell you it's a 10 already.
I say it has to be. I think they gave it Game of the Year in their IGN awards, so there's no way it's not.
10 with the
But,
decade of experience in creating these type of games. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, congrats. You got 3 points. Respectable, to be honest. I thought I could maybe get you to get 2 points in this one.
Yeah.
But no, GG's.
Reviews.
So that'll do it.
That was good.
Yeah, that'll do it for today. DLCs. Come separately. So maybe we should do a DLC for the podcast.
I'd say the main topic of this podcast will come separately
Yeah.
from the rest of it. So.
But no, that'll do it for today's podcast of DLCs. We hope you've enjoyed. If you have done, if you're on YouTube, please feel free to hit that subscribe button, like, and even comment your thoughts on DLCs, your favorite DLC, and did you get the game? That is going to be one of the questions. Did you get the game? But Ace, before we go, where can we find you?
At AceTheTurtle TV on most of the platforms. IGN playlist is just AceTheTurtle. Yeah, just posting reviews on there as of right now. Still working on stuff for YouTube. So keep posted there. What about you, Grubb?
Literally everywhere Grubb plays. And again, this was done live on my stream because obviously I'm the one with the PC, so I could do it. So maybe once a month we just maybe we do it on stream. And just try and get a live audience to get people to know that we do a podcast as well. So if you're on Power Podcast, feel free to come over. But everything is always going to be uploaded on the Power Podcast, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify. Again, all these links will be found in the description of the podcast. Obviously on Twitch, I have pinned. So if you want to go over to the podcast, please go to the pin. Please sub. You know, we're hopefully going to grow this to insane, the best gaming podcast in the world. Well, yeah, we kind of need as much support as possible because I can't seem to hit the algorithm on YouTube yet. So I need to keep working, to keep tweaking, to keep trying to figure things out, and hopefully one day we hit that algorithm, and yeah, we get seen because that's what we're waiting for really when it comes to YouTube. It's like just be patient. And one of us, we both said at the start, like, no, we're not expecting results straight away when it comes to uploading, and then oh wow, we've got like 10 million views. Like, it's not gonna happen, and we want to be realistic about it. So yeah, hopefully everyone enjoyed. You know where to find us, hopefully, and if not, description down below. And again, thank you everyone who came out and supported the live stream, because it's been a lot of fun to interact with all of you. And yeah, this is Power Podcast.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.